The world in general is becoming more borderless. Airfare is becoming cheaper. People don't want to work for the same company today for 50 years. They want to work for, I don't know, as freelancers, or they want to work for 5 companies at the same time. They're traveling around. These freelancers like to spend their winters in Bali or Indonesia, and then summers in Europe, for example. So I think the decentralization first of people and the brains is what is happening, and we can't change that. In terms of company decentralization, I see today that companies are not tied to one location. So companies are creating offices all around the world, and people can work for co-working spaces from anywhere. So the borders are disappearing, and for entrepreneurship, this is very exhilarating. This kind of accelerates the pace of entrepreneurship and makes more business. I would say to attract the best talent, because you can have the best digital environment if you have a lot of money, but you need the talent to actually execute it. You need the talent to come up with the ideas. So you can't just buy it with a lot of money, but you need a good environment for the people as well. What we're seeing today is that Silicon Valley is not so popular anymore because it's so expensive, and the life quality what you get is not so good anymore. So startups are coming away from there because it's so expensive to live. So in Estonia we have 1.3 million people. We need more talent. So I think what we are struggling is to actually how to get these best brains to our country. The point of e-residency is kind of virtual. So it's a digital identity for us to know who you are behind your computer. And you don't have to move to Estonia. You can actually participate in the Estonian economic space from the comfort of your home. And the idea is that you create a company to Estonia, meaning the European Union, and you can have access to EU market. We're seeing this already. Maybe it's not as fast as we would have anticipated when we created e-residency 5 years ago. So e-residency is 5 years old now, this end of this year. I would have thought that it would happen faster, that other governments are also coming with similar programs. Now Dubai launched their own initiative 2 weeks ago. Then Lithuania has promised that they will come out with a similar program. So we're seeing that governments are getting it, but I think the pace should be even faster. And ultimately it's the same. The governments or countries are competing each other in exchange for the best talent, work, environment, services. Yes, I think it's different. In terms of US, I don't think we kind of, compete with the US that much, because US is a very domestic market, right? Quite a lot of consumption inside. Also Asia, I think that's its own level playing field, and then the Gulf area, right, Middle Eastern kind of part of the world. But I think EU in general, I think there's a lot of competition where it's actually best to place your company. Tax optimization in terms of actually where you pay employment tax, where you locate your company, like big software companies and IT companies like Apple, Google in Ireland, for example. And then, life quality, nature. If there is access to actually, clean air, schools, and all of that. And this is kind of what puts together this ecosystem of forming the best country. If I would say it here, then I would give away the surprise. What we are working on.
Maybe some highlight development.
What we are working on at the moment is to allow remote entrepreneurs to have one place where they can feel safe. Meaning today there are so many digital nomads, if we might call them, or freelancers, who do not have a safe home because they travel a lot, they have holiday visas, but they're still working, so they're kind of illegal. So we want to create something called the digital nomad visa, so that they would actually place and come to Estonia for a limited number of time, and they could stay in the Schengen zone. And ultimately, the aim for our country, of course, would be to kind of adopt them, to get them to Estonia on a bit more permanent basis. So I think the funnel of e-resident, resident, and citizen is like that.